There's a lot of noise right now with Fextralife allegedly breaking a review embargo or NDA with Grinding Gear Games, the developers of Path of Exile, who are now set to release the early access version of Path of Exile 2 on the 6th of December. I want to give some context here. Fextralife is both a content creator team and an assortment of website wikis that cover a myriad of games, from the Dark Souls franchise to even MMOs like The Elder Scrolls Online. And Path of Exile 2 is essentially going to be one of the biggest ARPG releases of the decade, considering how stellar the first game has been and how much praise early reviewers have already given the second game. I personally haven't played the first Path of Exile, but I am looking forward to playing the second one myself, and I just want to go over this noise right now because it does concern me as a content creator, and I want to clarify some things for those who may not be as familiar with behind-the-scenes agreements or even like the creator industry or review embargoes between corporations and individuals like myself and stuff like that. So what exactly happened? So apparently Fextralife released a video that basically broke the review embargo. And a review embargo is essentially an agreement between you and the company saying you are not going to publish or release any content or talk about certain things with this review copy we're giving you until a specific time on a specific date. There are sometimes NDAs, and the difference between review embargoes and NDAs are, well, the non-disclosure agreements tend to have a bit more of a legal weight to them. So essentially, if you were to break an NDA, then that company or entity or person can take you to court. Review embargoes are more of like it's a trust agreement. It's like, okay, just kind of acknowledge a set of guidelines, and if you break it, then you will definitely not be seeing any more opportunities in the future with us, stuff like that. Of course, what happened was, of course, Fextralife broke it, and we're going to kind of go over why and how they must have broken it. So it's curious, actually, because the official Path of Exile account did have a lot of things to say, because a lot of people pointed out, what the hell is Fextralife doing? Is this acceptable? We've seen some speculation that some people might have already access to the early access version of Path of Exile 2. To clarify, some traditional games media have been given access to review a version of the game. Part of the stipulation that media were given is that this is for review purposes only. They may share their opinions of the game, but are not allowed to produce guide-style content from this version that would spoil the discovery of the game or post unedited playthroughs. They are not playing on the same servers as the early access version, so none of their progress will be kept. In addition, all of the content they produce is embargoed until the release of early access on December 6th, so no content is supposed to be posted until then. Unfortunately, there was a miscommunication with Fextralife that resulted in a video being posted early. This was a mistake on our end and is in no way on Fextralife. On release day, we want players to be able to make a more informed choice about if they would like to buy a key. We believe that allowing traditional games media access should be able to accomplish this without spoiling the game. So already I'm kind of seeing some things I just don't understand here. So they are giving, of course, early access, or sorry, review copies that are separate from the early access version of Path of Exile 2 to traditional media. Fextralife isn't exactly IGN or PC Gamer or anything like that. They're not exactly traditional game media, so I'm not exactly sure what why they were included in that. Secondly, it's great that the review copies are completely different from the early access versions, as to not give certain creators or certain reviewers any kind of advantage over other people who are buying into as supporters into the early access version, when the launch version will indeed be free later on. And it's clear that they did have an embargo date, which was early access launch time on December 6th, which Fextralife broke. And it's interesting to me because this is something a game company or a community management team or anyone in charge of handling communications or these embargo agreements or whatever with creators or reviewers, that specifically there was a miscommunication somehow with just one out of many of these reviewers. They had miscommunication issues with Fextralife that resulted in a video being posted early on their channel, which they have taken down since then. I take it honestly, like, if they're saying, objectively speaking, if they're saying that this is their fault, that Fextralife somehow misunderstood the embargo agreement and posted the video, cool. But to me, that doesn't make sense, because you would typically send the same guidelines, the same agreement to literally everybody you are sending a review key or review copy to. So the fact that Fextralife just kind of went ahead and broke the embargo is kind of eyebrow raising, at least for me, because from my personal experience, having been on the same kind of opportunities as Fextralife in the past as a content creator, I do know that they have deliberately broken embargo agreements before in the past, and part of that is because of their website. If anyone who has Googled things for Elden Ring or Dark Souls or even Elder Scrolls Online know that one of the top, or perhaps the top, Google search result as a result of the algorithm being kind of basically being taken advantage of by Fextralife, which great, get the bag. Know that Fextralife is that result. And part of how they do it is they get the information out faster. Now, in the past, from what I know, when they did deliberately break embargoes, they were kind of spared. The company, that particular company, I think, was like, okay, they have a huge metrics, right? They have millions of people visiting your website. They have lots of people on their YouTube channel watching their shorts or whatever. So let's not piss them off and just let them break it a couple more times and whatever. And eventually, I don't know what happened after that. It doesn't seem like they were given any more opportunities, but that is a common thing, it seems like, in this industry where certain companies are definitely afraid of certain creators or certain platforms of pissing them off. The metrics go both ways. Like, yes, at a certain extent, creators do depend on companies for coverage. But also at the same time, companies depend on creators for coverage as well. So it's an interesting two-way street, and oftentimes unfairly, actually, to other creators or other outlets, that kind of stuff is overlooked. So I would not be personally surprised or shocked at all if they did indeed deliberately break the trade embargo, and Path of Exile's developers, GGG, are kind of like being nice and just covering for them. Apart from that, I do want to cover why so many people are also hating on Fextralife, because objectively speaking, at least for some of the games, we do have to kind of admit, yeah, okay, some of their resources can be straightforward or good. I know a lot of people who did take advantage of the Elden Ring resources, particularly from Fextralife. And I also want to point out here that among the many reasons that people probably don't like Fextralife is, again, they tend to be at the top of the Google search results, and oftentimes what they do is they make a lot of, like, a buttload of content for a community or game, and then they just kind of move on to the next one, which means the previous community or game, or at least information databases for that, are kind of like left, not updated, so very outdated. If you ever go to like an older games wiki on Fextralife, you'll see that a lot of what I'm talking about is true. Information tends to be outdated for a lot of categories or a lot of games. People don't like the fact that Fextralife, despite almost every other streamer doing it, embedded their live streams on each page of their website and wiki. I mean, there's like entire Reddit threads where you can just kind of look up things and kind of read over why people don't like Fextralife. But in this particular case for Path of Exile 2, I think there is a concern over how much Fextralife will go over Path of Exile 2 and how much information it's going to push to the top of the Google search results, and how much of that information will be, again, outdated eventually once the next big thing comes out. And if indeed that, like, they did deliberately break the embargo, not saying they 100% did, I find it really shameful on their part to basically throw a tantrum over Dragon Age Veilguard, and going from that to doing this, right? Now, one component of this statement where they're saying creators or outlets may share their opinions of the game but are not allowed to produce guide-style content from this version that would spoil the discovery of the game or post unedited playthroughs is being looked at hard, because what's happening apparently right now, at least on the pages of on the wiki for Path of Exile 2 on Fextralife, is that Fextralife is already poised to upload walkthroughs or playthroughs or guides for Path of Exile 2. Now, the question is, where did they get this information for these pages that they're about to upload to? From the review copies, which are, by the agreement, you're not allowed to use the review copies to make the walkthroughs or guides or whatever, or clues for player base, as well as to not spoil the discovery of the game. So people have already caught on to this, that pages have already been made on the 29th of November on Fextralife's Wiki for Path of Exile 2. Now, I don't know if they already have the content ready for these pages or not, but someone in their Discord server noted that they were talking about. And of course, there's like a screenshot from their Discord between Kaz and Fex talking about, oh, look, here's the launcher. We're downloading Path of Exile 2. Here's the link, like already to that page, which is how people found that page, apparently from the Discord server. So it's kind of suspicious to me that they're already setting up pages for these walkthroughs or guides based on what they have done or found in the review copy. People are already accusing them of, data mining the entire game and looking through the files for uploading to the website, which, data mining in itself isn't malicious or anything, but the fact that, Path of Exile's developers don't want people to make such guide content or guide style content from the review version, but they seem to be poised to doing it is, to me, a little bit scummy. Now, should people be going to their wiki pages and basically be defacing the wiki pages to essentially protest against this? Well, as you can see, some people have gone already defaced those wiki pages, saying that Fextralife streamer is a pedophile, which and that they should kill themselves. Look, like, I understand when people are angry, but this is probably not the level-headed way to do things. I think, honestly, this should be a lesson to other companies or other developers in the future and go, hey, look, this seems to be consistently happening with the same people behind the scenes in regards to embargoes and stuff like that. Maybe we should reconsider before we give these guys a review copy or early access or something like that. But I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, just because of the nature of, as I was describing earlier, the nature of the industry, where metrics is ultimately kind of like your golden rule, right? So as long as Fextralife's website views are, website traffic is high up, they're algorithmically, like, they're always at the top of this, Google results, that their streams are probably due to the embedding of their live streams on the page. If they are still streaming, I'm not exactly sure, is always in the highest in the category, then yeah, I think companies or teams will always look at those metrics and be like, all right, maybe we should consider bringing these guys in. But that's just unfortunately it. I know a lot of people are also not aware of what goes on with Fextralife, because this kind of thing we're talking about, really, it might seem like common knowledge on the internet, but it's really not. I think the majority of people who are waiting for, who are waiting to play Path of Exile 2 or Diablo 4 or whatever other game that's come out or will ever come out, don't look at the chatter that we're kind of conducting here online before they decide to play that game, or whatever. I think most people are just gonna be like, that game looks amazing. Hey, I'm really stuck on this boss. Or hey, I don't know where to go from now. They'll just pull up their phone or pull up a tab and Google what they need to do, and they'll see Fextralife at the top, and they're gonna go to that website, and this entire cycle will, essentially continue. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time.